Well, that's 12 in a row, and just one more to equal the all time record for consecutive away defeats for Luton Town. And look, I'm trying to find the positives. I am. In my mind, we're better to watch. We are. And a positive is the fact that we're not cut through in open play anymore. Defensively, it's still very problematic. 3 goals today that were set pieces. I think the first was a second phase of a set piece, but then the second from Brown was straight from a set piece, straight from a corner, no one marking him. And then the third was just criminal, absolutely criminal marking. But the reality is, we look better. You can't deny that. If this was a case of Rob Edwards still in charge, I don't think we would have been as front footed. And while I'm on the positives, that Kraus goal to put us 1-0 up was fantastic. It was a sweet strike, brilliant play from Zach Nelson to win the ball back. Then McGuinness showed tenacity to keep the ball and find Kraus. And then Kraus's finish was brilliant through the legs of an Oxford player, straight across goal. Bam. But then here lies the problem. After that goal, we were defending incredibly deep. Incredibly deep. And someone said to me during the game as well, we were defending like it was the 85th minute. We need to be more front-footed and not try and kill games off, because then you get picked apart. But we need to be a bit more proactive when we play. But it doesn't really help, because as soon as Oxford scored, heads go down. And there's that, I don't want to say loser streak, but there is a weakness in the team right now. And that comes from players that have been relegated. Psychologically, I can't even begin to figure out what goes through the mind of a player that's been relegated. But you have players like, Elijah and Carlton Morris, who scored double figures in the Premier League last season. And, in the case of Elijah today, sometimes they just don't look like Premier League footballers. I don't know what was up with Elijah today. Just errors. And long-term listeners of the pod will know I've been a vociferous fan of Elijah Adebayo. But a lot of what he did today, it's not really defendable. There's some of the errors. They're just such basic errors. Balls being played to him, and he's not even looking at where the ball's going. He's off, he's running, and then the ball goes nowhere near him. He overruns it. He's not shooting first time. He's not shooting second time. When he does shoot, he's hitting it with the underside of his foot rather than with the toe or the laces or the instep. Like, literally, he's hitting balls the one way you shouldn't be hitting a ball. I'm not digging out players. I don't like to do that, but it shows where we need to go, considering we have a window open. There's an opportunity right now. And that opportunity is be bold and aggressive in the transfer window. We need to be bold and aggressive. A lot of players need to go, and fresh new players that don't have that loser mentality that I was talking about need to come in. I feel that is the only way to really have a hard reset, because right now there are 18 games to go and we are very much deep, knee deep, waist deep in the shit right now. All it takes is one win to sort of lift us up. And look, I'm optimistic about the Millwall game. Millwall can get got at. They had a great run that took them to the playoffs, but they've been slowly tumbling down the league ever since that amazing run of 4 consecutive 1-0 wins. Fair play to Oxford. Remember, they're a team on a great run of form. They are currently the most informed team in the division. 5 wins, 2 draws in their last 7 since Gary Rowett came in. And Gary Rowett is the man that I would have picked had I been consulted about the next Luton manager. But also, I would have got rid of Rob 3 months ago and then got Gary Rowett in. I felt Gary Rowett was the right type of man for what we needed. But it doesn't really matter who the manager is right now. Because, as I've said time and time again, it's the loser mentality in the players now. There's a weakness, an inherent weakness in this team at the back. And it's always a case of what defenders do we put out? Well, it was Holmes and McGuinness today. But the problem is with Holmes and McGuinness, I just don't think they can really play with each other. Let's not forget, Holmes was pretty much our 4th choice centre-back, and he's in the starting lineup by virtue of injury. Maybe Mads Andersen will get a go. If Mads Andersen even exists, I don't even know at this point. I feel it. He's just a figment of all of our collective imaginations right now. If he's fit, why not play him? He cost us about 3 million. He broke our transfer record at the time. Might as well give him a go next to Tom Holmes. Or if not that, then we need to shift out a couple of defenders. Maybe send Tom Holmes back to Reading, Mads Andersen to Denmark, to a sauna, so he can recover with his calf or something. Because, look, we saw Helik today, and let's not forget Helik and Mads Andersen played together at Barnsley. If you'd asked me at the time who I would have rather signed, it probably would have been Helik. Look, there's no way to get around injuries, but with Mads Andersen, sometimes it takes the piss about how often he breaks down. But then it's a case of, how do we get this defensive monkey off our back? How do we do the basics? And now Matt Bloomfield's put a system in place. He's made changes, made tweaks. In particular, I like the quad substitution. We all knew that the front 3 kind of get replaced by Matt Bloomfield when a game isn't quite going or when he wants a bit more energy. So as soon as Oxford scored their 3rd goal, Elijah, Izzy Jones and Zach Nelson all went off. They were replaced by Jacob Brown, Carlton Morris and Alfie Doughty. It was great seeing Alfie Doughty back. He looked hungry. And in that left wing position, he actually looked dangerous. Like, there was one moment where he put in a wicked ball. Apparently he was offside. Personally, I didn't really see that. But good to have him back. And he was demanding to take all set pieces again. So I guess that's sorted. Pelly came on as well. And other than one absolute howler where he pretty much put Oxford through on goal, 2-on-2, I thought Pelly was all right. I thought Kraus was excellent, but obviously he'd ran himself into the ground. I don't know where we go from here. We've got Millwall up next. And that is a game that we can win if we play like we did against Preston. Obviously, there's a bit more work to be done in the final third. And personally, I feel this is a case of Matt Bloomfield is, I don't want to say treating it like a pre-season, but it kind of is a pre-season. He's getting to know his players. He's trying out different things. Maybe he's trying to improve fitness a little bit because, in all fairness, Luton Town do look more gassed after like 60 minutes than a lot of other teams. As long as we don't piss off to Slovenia for a pointless training camp, then I'm happy with that. But right now, it has a very pre-season-y vibe to it in the sense that just things are getting figured out. He's sorted out a lot of things because, as I said, we don't look so shaky in regular play right now. It is the set pieces, the same problem that we've had all season. And I do like the look of McGuinness, but I feel he just needs someone else rather than Holmes next to him. A shout out to Hashi as well. He had a very tricky task today. He had Dembele up against him all game. And Hashi, wow, who would have thought a Japanese national team right back would actually be a good player when played as a right back? There's a lot of positives to be taken from him. Yes, it hurts losing a game when you've been leading, but the fact is, Oxford are in form. Oxford have one of the best records at home in the Championship. And right now, we are struggling. But at least we didn't get cut apart from open play like we did when we were at home. Like, I remember that Oxford first goal that made it 2-1 at Kenilworth Road, and bing, 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 bing. They literally passed it through us, around us. That didn't happen today. Oxford couldn't carve us up like that. It was purely set piece goals that undone us. But ultimately, a better performance from us. It was. Whether you like it or not, you need to look at the raw numbers here and the eye test. The eye test says we looked better. We just need our luck to change. We need to defend properly. And most importantly, we need to be quite bold in the transfer market. If I was to suggest what to do, I'd say we need a striker. We need a wide forward. We need a creative midfielder. And I'd say we need one more defender. And maybe someone else at left back. I don't quite know if Amari Bell is up to it. He was getting run ragged by Placheta today. Absolutely run ragged. But essentially, from what I've said, we need an entire new spine of the team. We do. Because the spine is very important because it's what keeps us standing. And right now, we're kind of flopped on the floor. Well, those are my thoughts. I'm sorry it was so down today. It's tough, when you just chucked away a win. But as always, if you're not subscribed and you're watching this, check out our YouTube channel. Tons of Luton Town content. We got a phone in on Sunday where fans can get involved and tell us their thoughts about this game and the Millwall game. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts about everything that's gone on during the week. We got loads of Luton content. We're going to have a match preview and an opposition view in there. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm not just saying that because I'm involved. It is genuinely great Luton Town content. But that's me. So, as always, come on, you Hatters. On to Millwall.